All right, well, let's jump into crypto then, because I know you're one that you seem to debate a lot of people on crypto. I think including your son Spencer. You guys go back and forth with your Twitter wars. Has your view of crypto changed at all? You and I were talking right before we went live here, and I think when you were on the show here almost 10 years ago, you were talking about Bitcoin back then, really early on. Has your view changed at all? I mean, obviously, I've never heard you talk about blockchain and gold, so that's interesting. But, with Bitcoin, with the DeFi protocols, with the stable coins, with all of that stuff, has anything changed in your mind? Or has it always been, like you and Warren Buffett say, just the rat poison?
No, I mean, when I first heard about it, which was even years before I was on your show, I mean, I heard about it. I didn't hear about it at the very beginning. I didn't know about it when, it was less than 10 cents or even less than $1. But I believe I heard about it maybe when it was under $10, certainly when it was well below 100, but I think it might have been below 10. But I learned about it early on, but my opinion about it hasn't changed. What has changed, obviously, is the fact that I did get wrong or underestimated the fact that other people would not understand Bitcoin and would be fooled into buying it. I just did not see early on that a bubble could get so big in this asset, and not just Bitcoin. Because one of the things I didn't like about Bitcoin when I first heard about it, I was like, well, what's stopping somebody else from coming up with another cryptocurrency to compete with Bitcoin? And it was like, well, nothing. I said, well, then what's so special about it? I mean, it's just a digital token. I mean, there's no limit to the number of digital tokens. And of course, now there's more than 20,000 of these things, yet there's still demand for them. So I did not believe that demand could be this great. And
they clearly have utility, right? So they clearly have utility.
They don't have utility. I mean, they've gone up in price despite their lack of utility. The reason that Bitcoin has gone up is because people believe they're going to get rich buying it, and a lot of people did get rich buying it, and that's what's motivating so many other people to think that they can get rich too. But they're not. I mean, it's a pyramid. It's it's a Ponzi or a chain letter. I mean, it's on a blockchain, but it's still a chain letter. But all of the people who make money are only going to make money because a lot more people are going to lose money. It is a zero-sum game. In fact, it's a negative-sum game because you have to pay the miners, and there's a lot of other costs involved. So people are going to lose money. And in fact, I think most of the people who bought Bitcoin are losing money. I think more than half the people who own Bitcoin paid more than 24,000 a Bitcoin. That's approximately the current price, or a little less, I think, today. But I think most people who own Bitcoin paid more than that, and so they're down. I think most institutions that are involved in Bitcoin are way down, including Michael Saylor, who's down about $1 billion on his purchase. He still claims it's a home run. Which I mentioned on Twitter, if losing $1 billion is a home run, I'd hate to see how he defines a strikeout. But I don't think anything has changed as far as my early call on the ultimate demise. I mean, when I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought it would go to zero, and I still think it's going to go to zero. I just didn't realize it would go to 69,000 first, because obviously I could have bought it. I could be the richest man in the world right now if I'd have, put, any significant amount of Bitcoin money into Bitcoin when I first heard about it. Now, of course, a lot of people could make that same claim, right? We all could be super rich had we bought a lot of Bitcoin back then.
Let me ask you about stable coins. In this case, I won't talk about, say, a Terra Luna stable coin. I'll talk about a USDC stablecoin, the gold standard, if you will, of stablecoins. Mm-hmm. And I had Jeremy Allaire on the show, who's gone up in front of Congress a few times. And for every one of those stablecoins they mint, there's I think a U.S. Treasury bond behind it, and it's audited, et cetera. Clearly, people are using those things. What do you see in a stablecoin? Is there utility there?
I think most of the stablecoins that are being used to trade Bitcoin or Ether or other tokens. I don't think a lot of people are using stable coins for day-to-day, transactions, commercial transactions. I don't think people are, buying goods and services with stable coins. I think more people would be using their credit card, their debit card, PayPal, Venmo, any one of a number, Zelle. There's all kinds of services through the banks where you can electronically send and receive US dollars. So I don't know that there's any reason to take the added risk of a stable coin that blows up and to introduce that extra counterparty risk that you don't really need to assume. In my mind, if you want to be in crypto and you want something stable, why would you want stability to the US dollar when the US dollar is not stable? The US dollar is losing purchasing power over time. So I think having a stable coin that's stable to gold makes a lot more sense to me, because a lot of the people who are attracted to cryptocurrencies, like, hey, there's high inflation, we don't trust central banks, we don't trust fiat currencies. Well, what good is going into a stable coin that's tied to the very currency that you don't like? So to me, I'd rather have stability to real money, gold, than have stability to a fiat currency like the dollar or any of these other currencies.
Is that coming soon from Euro Pacific, the Schiff gold coin?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of different companies, and there are companies that have these tokens, and I think it is something that I will ultimately get behind. I thought about doing something like that, but when you do that, my experience with regulators, when it comes to payments or banking so far has not been a great experience. So I'm not really sure if it's something that I could risk getting into, because it certainly, I believe, would draw a lot of scrutiny from the government. The government hates competition. Try to deliver the mail. They'll put you out of business, right? Even a little kid trying to deliver mail on a bicycle, the government will stop you. But there are some companies, Federal Express came around, Uber comes around to compete with, a taxi cab and other licensed entities. So it is possible, but the government really, really doesn't like competition when it comes to money.
Which means they will be regulating. So, which means they will be regulating stable coins by end of the year, and
they will be regulating the hell out of these coins with AML and KYC. And I think the cost of regulation is going to be so great that it's going to undermine the viability of even using them. They'll just be, because the compliance costs will be so great that you won't even use it. Yeah. Because it'd be too expensive.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, You gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.